What's up, everyone? Tyler DeLuca here with Greer in the no cap space, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're about 2 weeks into the WNBA season, so we have our sample size. Each game, it feels like we got a new takeaway from it. Some teams have played 7 games, some teams have felt like they've played 1 or 2, but regardless, we have a sample size. So today, Greer, we're playing a game. We're calling it cap or no cap.
All right,
cap or no cap. So the way this is going to work. We have 5 subjects here today that we've been able to take away from these early games in the WNBA season. And Greer, what we're here to decide is that if these are the truth that are going to remain true the entire way to the end of the season, or if it's cap and it's just the beginning of the season lying to us. That's what we're trying to find out today. So after this, we're going to be able to come back to this at the end of the season and see how well our lie detectors are.
Okay.
To begin this, we're starting off with an agenda that I know is close to you, Greer. I know this is one that is
an agenda. Come on.
This is one right here. Let's talk about Napheesa Collier. Cap or no cap, Napheesa Collier wins MVP. I want to take you through some of the history that she's already made early on in this season. Like you see the stats, 4 assists. The defense on both, like the two-way play from Fee this season has been remarkable to get it started off. From across the timeline, the first player in WNBA history with 115 points, 50 rebounds, 25 combined steals and blocks, and 20 assists over a 5-game span. Seems good to me, personally. Greer, cap or no cap, MVP comes to fruition.
I mean, you already know, like, nothing would make me happier. Mm-hmm. I've been driving this boat since she was snubbed as the college player of the year in 2019, period. Justice will be done. And so, yeah, I'm going, that's no cap. I think she's got an excellent chance. I think one of the things I've been really surprised with, and I've tweeted this multiple times, is just like the amount of chemistry that the Minnesota Lynx seem to have developed so early this season, adding, Courtney Williams, Alana Smith, Natisha Heidemann, Diamond Miller's out now. Dorka came over late. So just the amount of chemistry that they've displayed over the last 2 weeks is like remarkable to me. And most of that has to do with the kind of player and leader Napheesa Collier is.
Yeah.
Right. She talked at length in like Minnesota media availability about, recruiting Alana Smith to come to the Lynx and, what she liked about her game and how she thought that they would be able to blend, and we're seeing it pay off immediately.
Right.
So I'm going absolutely no cap because she's a phenomenal leader, and she's also just a player who has gotten better every single year that she's been a pro. This is year 2 removed of like being a mom of having a child, and so like I'm sure her body is feeling incredible now. She played really well last season, finished 4th in MVP voting, if I'm not mistaken. So, but now it's like, just like more time postpartum. She knows exactly where she can be effective on the court, right? In the middle of the lane. She's added the 3-point shot. And then, your point about the defense, like, she plays a 3-4 in this league, 4 most often. Yeah. And I would say like she's undersized relative to, but it doesn't matter. She played Stewie this year so far.
Right.
Ate him up. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm rocking. I love it. And I hope, they've played probably 5 games. So over the next 35, Olympic break and all that stuff, I hope she can sustain it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm fully on the MVP train, and I a lot of the point I share a lot of the same sentiments that you do. Because to kind of just piggyback off what you're saying, because I feel like this early on, this is the most like fingerprints on the defensive side of the ball that I've felt. Just like when you're watching the game, like she's never been in my eyes a bad defender or anything like that, but you could feel the impact that she's had. Like Asia Wilson is a player, you could feel the impact of the defense that she's playing. Fee is having that imprint on the game now, and you mix that with the offensive plays. I mean, that's we know what she brings on that end, but what she's been able to add on the defensive side of the ball puts her up into that other tier. Because like you said, she did come in 4th last year, and she was kind of just on the outside looking in from that top 3 tier with AT, Asia, and Stewie. This year, so far, there's 4 members of that tier. Like she's playing at that caliber. And also to your point, I like that you mentioned the leadership and how good the team has been. Because I remember hearing on the broadcast, this is the first time that Cheryl Reeve has had a team with one captain, and that one captain is Fee. And I think that says a lot when you think about the teams and the talent that has been on these Cheryl Reeve squads in Minnesota. That says a lot. And I do think, obviously, team success does play a role in MVP. Like it's just bound to. And I know, at least personally, like what we've seen from the Lynx so far was not what I expected in the success levels that we're seeing and the wins that they're being able to pick up. If they continue this, because ultimately for MVP, you need production, you need wins, you need a storyline. That's kind of the way that I think of it. You're getting the production, you're getting the wins, and the storyline is the fact that she hasn't been in that upper tier. Like this is kind of the, I don't want to say underdog or anything like that coming into this, but Fee wasn't in that tier last year. The Lynx as a team weren't in that tier last year. Everyone evolving and leveling up into that's an MVP campaign right there. And that's when I can get behind.
I think that's really funny because, you mentioned like her underdog. But that's like when I think about, her entire basketball career, I just feel like that's like people have kind of always counted her out in a way because, she's kind of an undersized 4 or, going back to college, she was playing with the number 1 recruited player in the class with Kimberly Samuelson. But like, to me, very apparent that she was the better player. You know what I'm saying? So I love when the player can, like, I don't think she's definitely not like outward about this. I can't even call it snubs, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, like I don't know if it's been like a wrong or a wronging of her. But she hasn't been like talked about in that tier.
She just puts her heads down and does the work.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And 100%. Season to season, you can see the difference.
Yeah. And it's paying off.
Yeah. I love seeing a player just, applying what's needed to get to the next step and having success. And she's doing that. And I fully expect her, knock on wood, health, all things, remain great. But I fully expect for her to remain on that top tier throughout this entire WNBA season.
Yeah. To the next point here, honestly, a pretty similar kind of journey in the sense of coming back from being a mom, being overshadowed by bigger names at different times. How about Dearica Hamby? She has started off this season phenomenally. Like, it has been incredible what we've seen from her so far. Leading the WNBA in rebounds per game at 13.2, 20 points per game as well. Like, getting it done. Like the wins haven't translated yet for the Sparks. They're obviously kind of in a weird like teeter-totter of like, do we want to try and compete? Do we want to what are we doing here? But Hamby has been producing. So Greer, I ask you this: cap or no cap, Dearica Hamby will make first team All WNBA this season.
Ooh, that's tough because obviously we started this tonight talking about Nafisa. So let's say she's a lock, right? And I can't remember if we do positionless in the WNBA, but I would imagine not. I would imagine that.
I don't think so.
2 guards and at least 3 front.
I believe that's. We'll work with that. So, I think that's the case. We'll work with that.
So if that's the case, right? The tear that A'ja Wilson has begun the season on, it feels like she's firmly planted.
Yeah, and somehow I think she got better, which is insane to say.
And so so you get A'ja, you get Nafisa, probably likely AT. When she's not being ejected from games, is one of the best players in the world, right?
Yeah, true.
And then you get obviously Stewie. I still
100%.
And I mean, she hasn't shown it yet this season, but like JJ's just another player that has that capability.
Dewana Bonner's up there too. Like there's players. Like there's several that are capable of like I'm with you.
About the team success. That is where a player like Dearica Hamby might get caught up. Right? I
agree.
Because the Sparks record probably just will not be enough. But I believe she's also in a contract year this year. I believe this is the last year of the deal, right? The extension that she signed way back with Vegas before they traded her. So it was important for her to come out and put her full game on display. And she's done that. Like I said in some of our previous stuff, like, If you would have told me like 4 years ago, if you would have told me that the De'Erica Hamby that hit that shot against the Chicago Sky would be this player today, I would have called you a liar. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show that like you can always get better.
Oh yeah.
You can
100%.
always get better. You know, this is year 10, I think, for De'Erica. But it's the best she's ever looked, right? Showing like her array of like the offensive skill set that she possesses, and that she's like acquired over the 10-year pro career is like really, really cool. And then obviously, yeah, to your point, like about being a mom, like there's obviously something about that is just making these women like even more focused, and determined, and you know, they're just going harder than they ever have. So this is a great season for WNBA.
So, but you're saying ultimately,
I'm gonna go Cap.
Okay,
I'm gonna go Cap just because of the competition, the field, right? And also that I just don't know that the Sparks will have. If it comes down to we have similar numbers as some of my other front court peers, what do? You go to team standings, right? So that's just kind of where it feels like she might fall short, but she's not only playing for that, you know, she's trying to be an all-star. I think I heard her say, you know, it's a contract year, so I'm sure she wants to be a highly coveted free agent this offseason. So she's she's holding up her end of the bargain.
Yeah, 100%. I am with you though. I also am saying Cap on first team, and it's but like it really is. There's just so much talent at the forward position. Like that's not even a knock on Hamby as much as everyone else is so good, you know. So and I do think there's a very real possibility that it comes down to that team record. And if you're matching up hypothetically Hamby versus Stewie, more than likely the Liberty are going to have a very clear record above the Sparks. So like it's more than likely going to come down to that, and I think that is going to be something that holds her back. Like I said, to intro this, like on a very similar path that Fee was on, and honestly, it's kind of almost where Fee was last year, where it's like you're just below that really high tier, you know, and like so it's kind of odd almost how much they parallel each other and the
Minnesota started last year 0-6. The Sparks only won one game so far.
It's a very interesting kind of parallel to watch. But yeah, I'm with you. I think she's the smoothness and the way her game has smoothed out over the course of her career is what is so impressive to me. It's just like it's just she's getting more comfortable every year and more comfortable in her bag and deepening that bag, and you're seeing it on display. And she's keeping what the core of what made her the 6th woman of the year multiple times, like the core of that, and just adding onto that foundation. And it's been fun to watch early on this season. But I do agree. I am saying Cap.
And if she somehow
more power to her. Listen, she'll have earned it. Like
I want to be wrong about it.
I'd be happy to. Happy to, because like the way like she's been incredible. Like it's more so. I think us saying Cap is almost more so respect for what other players have done, as opposed to what we've seen so far this season. Because if it ended right now, she'd be first team.
Yep. And then, I mean, if you think about who her front court mate is in LA, like, you know, we're also talking about a player who could be on some lists at the end of this year, too.
Well, speaking of that player, let's talk about some of those lists, including this one right here. Let's talk about Cap or no cap. Someone other than Caitlin Clark wins Rookie of the Year. We have seen some performances from some of these rookies. Cam Brink just had an incredible performance against the Wings. Hit 3 threes, which he's only did one time in her college career, and this was just past season. The blocks are there. Like this is looking. If she, I've been workshopping this take in my head that she's figuring foul trouble out away from being an all-star in her rookie year. Like I that's what I think of Brink. Obviously Angel Reese has been everything that made her great in college has translated, and the rebounding, the putbacks, the energy, the defense, like that has completely translated over.
When she hit that, I was in the building on Thursday when they played the Liberty in New York at Barclays.
The and one.
We hit the and one.
And one on Stewie.
That they got.
Yeah. Oh, it's so tough. It's so tough. So,
yeah. I mean, Angel, what she's doing right now, like we're gonna get into the, but like I just gotta ISO a little bit on Angel right now. Look, she had people in the building in New York City, straight up. Like I've been to Barclays before for a game, and I always thought they had like a really good atmosphere. But Chicago coming into town, like totally changed the atmosphere for the better. Spoon, obviously, this was her first game coaching as a head coach in the WNBA against the team in the Liberty that she, had her entire WNBA career with. So it was just like a really special night to be in the building. I wasn't even like thinking all these things when I initially pulled up, but what Angel is doing for a WNBA fandom, like I was out in New York all weekend, like people asking me about Angel.
It's big time.
In a lounge.
The Angel Reese effect is real. Like it's a real genuine. I was there in Dallas when they played there. It's real. Like that crowd was Angel Reese's crowd. I tweeted that out. That is Angel Reese's crowd. So the effect is real. Yeah, it ain't just Caitlin bringing people out like at all. It's real.
Yeah. So, but okay. On to cap or no cap.
Well, also let me real quick because Rickea Jackson as well in her minutes that she's been playing has been nothing but positive. Like ever and Andrew just wrote an article. You can find the Substack down below. Wink, wink. And 5 out for this week, and he said that Rickea Jackson should be starting, and I completely agree.
Listen, that was one of my it's so funny over the weekend. I saw a lot more people starting to agree with that take. But I was saying this like
I'm with you. I remember we were here with it. We were here with it.
After week one, it was
this should have been. I thought going into the season, she's like just.
I don't know about starting, fine, whatever, because we're talking about rookies like on the pace that she's at. Like Rickea could be a 6th Woman of the Year.
Hello,
you know what I'm saying? Like it depends on what the plan is for her.
Sure.
Right now, it feels a little fuzzy. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I love that she's just seizing the opportunity any minutes.
She's been making the most out of it, and the efficiency is what stood out to me. She's been,
but I would love to see her at least get some minutes with the first unit.
Right. Yeah, and we saw a little bit of that when Clarendon went down in the second half. Like didn't play the second half. Rickea starts the second half, so we got to see a little bit of that. I know Laisha's out for the next game. Yeah. We'll see if Rickea enters the starting lineup for that. But yeah, let's dive into this one though. Cap or no cap? Because we haven't really talked about her. Caitlin Clark been doing her thing too. Let's
we haven't talked about her. Yeah, no. Listen, I mean, bro, if you watch basketball and understand what you're watching, you already know like the energy that Caitlin is receiving right now is way different.
It's different than
most rookies.
Best defenders, 94 feet. Like defensive game plans around a rookie, like and
against a rookie who's also playing with a former number 1 pick.
There ain't just scrubs around her. Like there's
who's also playing with a previous number 2 pick from 2 seasons ago. So it's not like
Kelsey Mitchell's an all-star. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
And you're getting the best perimeter defender on Caitlin. Like that. So that I know we've talked about it like in the chat and everything. Like that is stood out so much, and it's been from game 1. Like damn near every team.
No, that's what I'm saying. I love how Seattle and LA actually had some pride about themselves and
like
let them play the natural matchups, like what New York did, what who else?
Connecticut.
Yeah, like well, Dejanay is a guard.
Right, true.
So it's a little different, but I get you in terms of guarding her.
Just the best defender, 94 feet.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like Seattle, like they actually just played their guard matchups against her, right? LA just played their all this matching, like all of these machinations to hide people that you prop up as stars that can't even guard 22-year-old. Like, I don't. Come on. Save it. I just don't the way they do that. Like, come on, man. That's just like that's not real hoops, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not even like we're in the playoffs or anything, right? Where it's like
we just getting started.
Yeah, like it's not even like your season's hanging in the balance at this point. Like, just guard me, bro. Like, come on. And then I mean, Indiana's working through some things right now, right? They've had some lineup changes. Earlier in the season, Erica Wheeler was, with Caitlin in the backcourt. Everybody who had eyes could see that was not going to work. I also saw a stat before we came on tonight saying something like in the games where Erica Wheeler's played 13 minutes or less, they won, and in the games where she's played more than that, they lost. So
not great.
Simple math.
Not great.
Yeah. But yeah, they're also figuring out some lineup things with the front court, right? Katie Lou has been out of the starting lineup. Nelissa's been out of the starting lineup. Timmy's been added to it. So they're working some kinks out and figuring out, what really are their best lineups. But I know who absolutely has to be on the floor, no matter what.
No doubt at all.
Clark, right? The passing has translated. And again, like a player like Caitlin, it's high risk, it's high reward. That has been her MO since she's come into public consciousness as a basketball player, right? So I don't even really. Some of the turnovers, yeah, I get that they're gonna get credited to her, but some of them definitely have been on the people that she's passing to. I definitely never want to see her perform like she performed against Vegas and taking less than 10 shots. Like that is just not a recipe.
Yeah, it's not what you're like. Even if it's not falling, that's not what I'm asking Caitlin to do.
Right.
Like
it's not a recipe for success. And like they're not going to go in if you don't shoot them.
No.
So
I agree completely.
I'm with you. Shoot them. But yeah, the passing, the rebounding, they seem to be getting out in transition a lot more than how they started the season, and just playing to her strengths, which makes sense. You drafted her number 1 overall. You guys have been all in on her since you won the number 1 pick, basically, right? So let's really lean into that, and whatever happens. But like, everybody else has got to come up to game with Caitlin, okay. So I do think as of today. Oh, also I'll say like when they played New York, at least one of the times they were going at her defensively, but for the most part, I've been like very shocked.
No one's really
how well.
I haven't felt like she's been picked on or like any like I haven't had really like a heavy instance of that.
She's gotten fouled hard.
Yeah. She's had moments, but never a game. Like at least not yet. There hasn't been like a game where I'm like, damn, she is bad. Like there's moments, there's possessions, but like
basically I'm just saying like I know she could be an even defender. Maybe not plus, but certainly she could be
a player
who's not a liability on defense. You know what I mean? And I think I could get really high for Bala, but maybe I'll save that for future episodes.
I think I know.
Maybe I need like 10 more games to see it, but like I know how I feel right now. And ladies and gentlemen, pay attention and appreciate what you're seeing, because rookies don't do this. They don't do these kinds of things. It's not common. It's very, very uncommon. And I can already tell within the first they played their 7 games in 12 days.
Yep.
I know what I'm looking at. And I know I'm looking at a generational player already.
There you go. It's really that simple.
I know that I am. And once things start clicking and
this is the worst she's gonna be. This is the worst she's gonna be. And we're and so like think about that. This is the worst at Caitlin. And like really all these rookies, like they're all having their impacts in their own ways and doing things. Like Cam's damn near defensive player of the year right now, if she's not. So
with that being said, like that's kind of why I was bringing up Caitlin's defense, is because from day one, Cam came in and said, like,
and we've been saying that
I'm an A+ defender, right?
Yes.
I'm an A+ defender. Whether we're still fouling stupidly sometimes, you know what I mean? But all habits die hard. Like that's just.
Cam is doing exactly what we had anticipated. She was going to be the day one,
right?
I agree,
and even more because
I agree, even more,
right? So. I still don't think that they've even like scratched the surface.
No, she's going to be
as an offensive player, but the skills that she's already displayed and the willingness, like the shot profile that she's already exhibited this season, right? With the threes, with the off the dribble, with the dishing to your other post player, right? After making a play off the dribble, like, honestly, I can't wait to ask her like more questions about developing her offensive game because I'm super intrigued. And again, this is a player who's 6'3", 6'4", has a freakishly long wingspan. She's a matchup nightmare.
I don't know what you're supposed to do against her.
Yeah.
Like year 3 Cam Brink is gonna be disgusting. And I don't know what she's gonna look like then, but on this trajectory, because she mentioned, I think it was on the Paul George podcast when she did her appearance on there, how much more spacing she has now, like compared to college, and it makes total sense. Like when you're surrounded by pros and everyone, the respect level across the board, and we're seeing. She was like, "Yeah, I've always been able to do these things, like that have the capabilities of it, but I just haven't had the space to do so."
Right.
And Lord knows how much longer she's gonna have the space to do so at this rate. So I hope she gets the highlights in now, because the respect that team is gonna have to give her going forward. I mean, I already have to, honestly. Like what we're seeing right now, like what she was able to do against Dallas, going against larger bigs that can't defend as well on the perimeter. She was eating them up from 3. Like McCowan, I think all, I could be wrong. I think all 3 threes were with McCowan guarding her. And obviously Dallas has very unique size and the amount of size that they have, but like that's a real thing that she was like, okay, I'm not going to go down there and bang with her.
Yeah, she has the size and mobility.
The ability to be able to make that decision and know how she's going to win this matchup in game 3 or 4, like whatever, however many games in.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Dallas by 1 point. And this is, if you look, the guards for the Sparks did absolutely nothing that game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like, if they just make 2 more free throws, a layup, we're talking about a W for the Sparks. So that's where, I saw on the graphic, right, it's Angel, Caitlin, Cam. I do think that they would be 1 and 2 right now for Rookie of the Year. Angel, look, I mean, like you said, everything we thought about her as a college player and what would translate successfully is it absolutely is. I think all 4 of them, right? Well, Angel's team is the best right now, right?
Yep.
And when you think about the front court talent that she's playing with Elizabeth Williams, Turner, who else do they play?
I think Camilla's still on the way. Camilla will be debuting soon, so that'll be fun to watch. See how that.
Yeah, I think Angel's been put in a very good place to succeed.
Oh, every clip I see of her next to Spoon, like Spoon's literally just nodding and just having it. I don't know, let alone active coaches. I'm not sure there could be a better coach, period, ever, history, for Angel. Like just the mix of the city, the coach, like the culture that Spoon wants to have. It couldn't be better. But let's make it official. Okay. Cap or no cap? Someone other than Clark wins Rookie of the Year.
I'm gonna go no cap. Ooh. I think it's possible. I think what Cam is doing is really special. And then their teams are going to be bad, both. So like the defensive end, if it's not that she's a plus on defense. It's not even that she's just even. Like you would take that every day of the year if you just said a rookie just came in and just didn't hurt us. She's helping. You know what I mean? Like, and you just cannot ignore her impact on that side of the ball to start the season so far. So I'm just gonna go no cap because I just think what Caitlin is doing offensively is incredible, no doubt. But I think a lot of emphasis should be put on Cameron's defense and how well she's performing against some really good players. We know that bigs in this league, like if you had to, like, where do most of the best players fall?
Oh yeah, all in that 4-5, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she's coming in from day one and kind of holding her own is very telling and very impressive.
Yeah, I'm gonna say cap. I think Caitlin is going to end up winning it in the long run. Whether it just be the powers that be or just I do think what Caitlin has been able to come and do, like I think honestly that game against the Sparks where you struggle and the stats aren't there, and then you pull up from the damn logo to ice it. You know what I mean? Like moments like those stick with you throughout the course of the season. And the performances have been there. Like there's been their struggles. Like he's far from a perfect player. The turnovers are obviously something, but like seeing the way that teams react to Clark is unique. That's not something that you see. So if and I feel like we're actively seeing Clark get better in in different ways in each game. Like the turnovers are going down and things of that nature. So I'm banking on that improvement to continue and also the fever to just generally get better. I think that they're a more talented team than the Sparks. They just need to figure it out. And so I'm banking on that. I'm gonna say Cap. I think Caitlin Clark's gonna win Rookie of the Year, but that's no slide on Cam at all because she really might be my DPOY right now. Like if I was to place a vote, like she genuinely might be it. If she could just get games where she only fouls twice or 3 times, we're talking about an all-star player. Like it's like literally like that is the only thing holding her back right now is the fact that the fouls. So I'm saying Cap, but like it's close and like it could be close. Like this, the 4 players you see on the screen right now are franchise foundational players. Like
and 2 of them play on the same team, so
that like these are it is no diss to any of these players at all by saying one is higher than the other by any means. But yeah, I'm saying Cap. But let's go into this one right here. I find this one interesting because one player that was probably the biggest move of the offseason, I'd say, or maybe not the biggest move because Seattle made a lot of moves, but Kalia Copper. Oh my goodness. What she has been able to do to start this season is ridiculous. You want to talk about getting buckets. 29.2 points per game. The 3-point shot is falling. Like, dear Lord. She came to Phoenix. She got the new facilities and started feeling great. She started feeling great. So I bring this to you. Is this sustainable? Is this what we're going to see the entire season? Cap or no cap, Greer? Copper will lead the W in scoring this season.
I'm gonna go no cap. I just think like hashtag girl dad Nate Tibbetts.
Hey, I like it.
Listen, the way that he said they want to play, right? They want to play an up-tempo style. She's hitting 48% of her threes. I fully expect Phoenix to be the team that probably takes the most threes this year. And her hitting the 3 obviously opens up the driving lanes. And there may not be a better player going to the rim than Kalia Copper.
No, you know what I'm saying? The finish, the layup package is crazy.
Like crazy. I don't know. I'm struggling to think about like who's on her level right now when it comes to that. So I can see it. They want to play an up tempo style. They're doing it right now. Diana is taking out the 3, opens things up for Ka. I think Natasha Cloud has come in and instantly meshed very well. League in assists. So yeah, and then they're playing small. So Ka's playing at like that 3 or 4 position right now, and she's gonna be a matchup problem for a lot of players trying to defend her on that end. So leading the league in scoring, 29-ish points right now. I don't know if that clip is sustainable, but I certainly could see her winning a scoring title. And I think, one other player who may have something to say about that because she dropped 40 over the weekend.
Hello. You're taking my point, Greer.
You're
taking my point.
But yeah, like as they, Dallas has got more things to figure out and incorporate in their offense, right? So it just feels like the stars are aligning so that Ka can do that.
Yeah, I mean the clip that she's been at, like it's ridiculous. Like those new facilities got her acting completely. I can't imagine being like a new W fan, like this is your first time seeing Ka play, and like you might think she might be the greatest of all time the way she scored. I though am going to say Cap because of Enrique. I think my biggest reason, honestly, it's pretty simple. BG is gonna be back before Satu. And that's kind of my thought process with it. Enrique is just like 0.4, I think, behind right now. Obviously, that 40-point game was big time for her to obviously get that average up. But we know she gonna do this. This is what she does is put the ball in the basket and has the freedom to do so. And like I said, I just think it might be simplifying it too much, but to me, like those touches ain't going anywhere for Enrique. Whereas we don't know exactly how it's going to operate with BG back in the lineup. If maybe it doesn't change at all. It might not. I don't know. But until we see that, I'm trusting what we have seen from Arike and the fact that Satu isn't going to be there, and they don't have like right now Maddie Segrist is their number 2 scorer.
Hey,
and that's not a slight. Sister Segrist,
we haven't talked about it yet. Maddie for MIP.
Hello.
We ain't talking about it yet. We'll get to it in a week or something. But come on now.
I'm workshopping something
She's
up
been
here.
In the lab.
I'm workshopping something up here. She's just career high. But that's to the point where it's like there's so many injuries right now for Dallas. Satu, Natasha Howard, Jalen, and it's a testament to their depth that they're even still winning games right now. 100%. And what LT, the coach that she's been at, she's I feel like a great coach for to have to deal with next man up. Like that is a coach that I want to be next man up for. But due to those injuries, I'm going to Arike. But what Ka has been able to do, ridiculous.
Can I pour one out for my 41-year-old GOAT, also averaging 19 points a game right now?
Here you go.
Can I pour one out?
For the honey.
Come on, stop playing. I'm loving it.
Well, let's go from one of your GOATs to another one of your GOATs. All of these have been individual so far. Let's talk teams for our final cap or no cap here. The Aces and Liberty will meet again in the finals. And this was so interesting to me because last year it felt the collision course was bound to happen.
Right.
This year, the talent that's spread across the WNBA, whether it be Seattle loading up, Phoenix loading up, Minnesota being better than we expected, this is far from a foregone conclusion this year, the way that it felt last year. So, Greer, cap or no cap? Do we get the finals rematch?
I'm going cap. So far, I mean, obviously, I saw New York in person, late last week. I wasn't impressed. That was a game that they lost on their home floor versus the Chicago Sky. And I've watched them, I've probably watched all their games so far this season. And I just have been, for a team that had a lot of cohesiveness coming back, returning, right? They pretty much returned their entire team. Added a couple of pieces and Marquisha Davis, who hasn't played yet, Phoebich, who's been playing a bit, lost Dolson, lost Honshu, lost Marino Hannes. And I don't feel like they really replaced any of those players or what they gave them. So I'm going to go cap. I think the Aces are going to hold up their end of the bargain.
I do too.
Wouldn't shock me if they're in there. What will it be? Maybe 4 or 5 straight finals, something like that.
Yeah, 4. I think 4.
Right? So
a lot.
So it wouldn't shock me if they, did what they're supposed to do and they get right back to being in the finals. But New York, I think a team like Connecticut, right, who kind of looks like the best team in the league right now.
Yeah,
it's like they have the most things figured out. Right? I mean, I know AT and Dewan are hungry. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I know that they are.
Get the hashtag out. Hashtag disrespect.
Man, CT capital. So Seattle, still gelling, figuring things out, but on talent alone, I think that they're a better team than New York.
Phoenix is one.
Come on now.
We've talked about what Ka's doing.
They didn't spend all that bread to be middle of the pack.
And it's working early too for them. That was another team that we do they gel kind of how Seattle is. It's working early. Obviously,
the chemistry so far between them. Let's say Cloud, D, and Sophie.
Phenomenal. No complaints. I got nothing. No notes.
10 out of 10. No notes. They are humming right now. So I listen. I know it's a long season. We've got the Olympic break and all of that, but I don't know. I felt like from what I've seen so far, I don't even feel like New York approached the season.
Right. It feels like for the way that a lot of these teams came in, ready to go, and you could feel that, you could say because these games have been competitive from the jump. New York hasn't had that. So I'm agreeing with you. I think it's cap. I don't think the Liberty are going to hold up their end of the bargain. I think the Aces are still the Aces. I don't think they're going anywhere. But but to your point, even kind of comparing the two, think about the offseason moves that the Aces made and filling gaps, whether it be through the draft or with Megan Gustafson in free agency.
Right.
The Liberty have the same issues that they had last year, and I'd argue probably have less solutions for the and less that they just kind of added more of the same as opposed to replacing or either replacing what they had left or fix or plugging the holes that they had last year. So for me, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to exactly pinpoint what I'm feeling is wrong with the Liberty right now, but it just isn't. I'm not moved at all. Like you have Stewie and you have John Quell getting, what was it, like 4 points and 6 rebounds or something like that when they got blown out. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's no excuse for that. And now it's like last year, it's like, okay, they just formed. This year, there's no
bro, and they've been trying to do the whole propaganda of like our chemistry is so much better and blah 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 blah. Well, it's not translating on the court just yet. And these are not young players either. Like
that's what's so puzzling to me. Is like this should just make sense. It should just, like, whether no matter the fit itself, it shouldn't feel like there's not team chemistry. Whether the fit basketball wise, one way or the other, good or bad, is. However, with players this accomplished, with a Stewie, a JJ that's won MVP, like, this shouldn't be the issue if there's going to be one, in my opinion. And it like radiates off the court when you're watching it. Like, it's hard to like quantify it, but you could tell something's weird.
Yeah, and I think I feel like I've seen Liberty fans talk about that. Like, this team is just something. It's not giving me that vibe, you know what I mean? And then, like, where does it come from? Like, Stewie. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously one of the best players to ever lace him up. But I don't know how inspiring Stewie is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know that I'm, like, willing to walk into the fire with Stewie. I don't know. I don't know that she can get that out of me. I know Slew can't. I know Sabrina can't. JJ doesn't even strike me as that type either. But like, I don't even think that should be Banaj's job. You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree.
So yeah, where's it coming from? Like, Sandy, no, where's it coming from? Like, it's so funny because on the men's side, I hate to bring them in, but I think it is like about culture and like from the top, right? I saw that Joe Tsai said something about like the Brooklyn Nets and how he's like, they're basically tearing them down to the studs and they want to be like a sustainable.
Yeah, I saw that.
Same situation with the Liberty, right? You thought that you could like skirt around some shit, you know what I'm saying?
He's essentially saying he wants to be the Aces and build, like, I mean, when you think about the difference in how the Aces created their super team versus the Liberty creating theirs, it's the built versus bought argument, and it like I said, it's so hard to you can't really quantify that at all, but it's a feel you can just tell it's a thing, and it's like a cloud hanging over this team's head. That at this point, if they had, like, if not now, then when? You've had a season, it's the same core starters. We shouldn't be having this conversation. If it's a basketball thing, fine.
Yeah, this
shouldn't be the conversation we're having at this point.
Yeah, so I just remain largely uninspired by the Liberty. That's just,
I'm not moved at all. When like as much as I've been impressed by whether it be Connecticut with some of like their other players stepping up, whether like a Dejanay, whether it be Phoenix gelling immediately, like Seattle, like you're seeing the vision and it's coming together now that NECA's being able to be healthy. It's obviously missed the first couple of games, so like. You're even early on, you're seeing that. What we're seeing with the Lynx, I've been impressed. I'm just not getting that.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, but they cramping already.
Ooh. It's Ivy.
It's Ivy. They cramping already. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. I don't feel very optimistic about their chances to make it to the final. So I'm going Cap.
I'm also going Cap. And that is the end of Cap or No Cap. What a fun game. We'll be able to revisit all this. Maybe we're incredibly smart. Maybe we're dumb as hell. Who knows? We're going to find out at the end of this season. But regardless, we appreciate you for tapping in here in the No Cap space. We've been dropping stuff on Twitter, whether it be coverage, whether it be articles on the Substack. You can also find published on Twitter. We're gonna be on playback. Fingers crossed here soon, watching games live with y'all. So make sure all the links down below that you tap in with us. It's free across the board, and make sure you're getting all of the No Cap Space content. And we will see you next time.